2, the running cam.
You must take 10 minutes of on-cam ham per day.
Following Edgar's descriptions and what he wanted, we've kept a lot of 80s aesthetics. I had a pretty clear idea of what the running cam should be, and I'm very happy to say it's ended up that way.
One of the things that was in the book was the idea of him having a handy cam and tapes and posting the tapes back to the show. And probably the first thought in the adaptation was like, oh, we won't do that. We'll do something with like a smartphone. But then we thought, no, the analog technology is actually more interesting and looks cooler and more tactile. So we just decided to stick with it.
Angle that camera a tiny bit to your left. Yeah, that's good.
Some physical things still exist and still proliferate, working with paper again. And the underground distributes through old media. There's this whole strain of art called cassette futurism, this idea that the logos and the graphics on VHS and audio cassettes from the 80s suggested like a brighter future of technology. So we tried to incorporate some of that into the designs. Videotapes, post boxes, there's mail. Michael Bacall came out with the idea of the drone mailboxes, and Oscar Wright, my brother, designed those. But I like the idea of it having like a slot where the downturn mouth is like a red neon that goes down, and then when you post, it turns green and up, like a frown and then a smile.
I always deliver.
The amazing special effects team made a physical prop. It didn't fly off, but it did open up and look like it's about to launch. And it was funny, people would always ooh and ah when looking at it. Sometimes different outmoded technology looks more exotic. Same thing with the running band as well. In theory today, that could just be like a chip implanted into your neck. But we like the idea of him having an ankle tag kind of thing, but it's on his wrist. But it's like a chunky bracelet that you'd have to pull your sleeve down.
Look at the running band.
Because it's in sort of convict orange, so it's very conspicuous. And the jumpsuit, the Running Man contestants look somewhat like convicts wearing them. Deep red, crimson and black, mirroring the idea of the most dangerous, volatile prisoner.
You look great.
You look great.
It looks great.
As soon as you get out of the TV set, you'd be a fool to run around in public with your jumpsuit on. So the jumpsuit is the first thing that gets lost. But he does decide to keep the Pumas rather than go back to his work boots.
The amount of stunts that I'm doing. That's what these puppies are for. That's why I started working out in these today.
Okay. Are they the show shoes?
These are the show shoes.
Okay.
Shoes define how you walk and how you carry yourself and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Needs to be the right shoe.
Going into his different disguises, it was very important to Edgar that everything should be very grounded, and it also comes from a place of truth. So think of what's in Molly's basement. It's not going to be the greatest wig. He's not going to be able to put it on perfectly so it looks seamless.
Let's test out those contacts.
That's it, and look up, down, left, right, up.
I was one day looking through an old 1950s men's catalogue, and I saw the way the hair was, and I thought this might be a good look for this businessman. But the idea for the wig is that a person wearing that wig would think that that wig looks okay. I'm walking down the street, I'll see him and think, why is he wearing that strange wig? Just that little bit of fakery, but believable.
Hey, mister, your mustache.
Then his next one was the veteran. We played around with what is it that we could use to make him look down and out. And then we landed on teeth. You know, is it teeth where there's one missing? Are they dirty? Are they just yellow? We ended up with a set of quite grimy teeth so that he's believable as a homeless veteran.
Where'd you deploy? Alaska. Hey, Shrapnel.
You need to lose those fake teeth. You sound like a donkey trying to do math.
His next look is the priest. That was pretty straightforward.
Hey, Father. Can I ask you something?
Of course, my son.
You know, I think I'm ripping this off and throwing my coat. This is the all-out sprint, ripping shit off. Magic Mike's that shit, just like you taught me.
Costumes that, even if they seem everyday, they start to become very iconic and memorable within the movie. Ben's hoodie, which is something that probably just if you looked at it on its own would seem relatively nondescript, starts to become indistinguishable from the character of like, this is his key costume.
Glen is a delight to collaborate with. Edgar and I had had several conversations from early Harrison Ford kind of look of the haircuts. After the camera test, we thought a darker hair would just be stronger. He's a hero. So, of course, that's always good to have like a little scar somewhere, just a little battle scar of maybe protecting someone or being in a fight or something. So that stays with him the whole time. And then we added a lot of characterization under his eyes. He's tired. He's worried about the health of his child. He's a guy that carries a weight with him.
Go on. I'll give you a head start.
A big part of my preparation for this role was figuring out how McCone looks. He needed to not just look cool, but also become this mysterious ghost. He's not giving anything away but this promise of violence. So that's how we came up with this mask, the sunglasses, the beret. Obviously, he exists through the movie behind that mask, so enjoying that, feeling comfortable with it was a big part of what I needed to get to set.
This mask, it's a protective mask. We started with this idea of an old burn, sculpted by Walter Mason, our prosthetics maker. There's nothing raw to it. There's nothing nasty to look at, but it's just this, from my eyes, a very beautiful old burn.
That's game.
Evan, are you insane? The show hasn't even started. Hand over your gun and go to the back of the jet.
Julian Day made a deal, I guess, with Armani, and that's what we're wearing. I don't dress like this every day. I can't say that I hate it. I would not do it on my own accord, but I'll look right in the camera and I'll say it. I actually really love what I'm wearing, playing this character.
Julian, costume designer, phenomenal. I'm dripping in like Dolce & Gabbana and I think Chopard. And then we start to find the story though. It wasn't just like putting on clothes. At first, we thought show hosts were always in ties and buttoned up, and we start to find that he's a bit more casual. He's a bit more effortlessly luxurious with shirts that are open, maybe 3 or even 4 buttons. When it comes to hair, we figured out we do this nice, parted, slick, sort of classic look, so he can look timeless.
The thrill of the hunt. Can you feel it, Mr. Richards?
And then the makeup is all show makeup. That's why I have eyeliner and cheekbones. Everything's a bit more exaggerated to pop.
Making this movie, what I didn't see in the beginning was the level of work, the variety of work, all the layers of it. We're doing everything every day. We're shooting commercials and TV shows and movies, all in one job.
I think there are 169 different things where you're in a different location or a different environment or a different set.
It's like 8.
So that meant that we were constantly running from one environment to the next, which is a challenge. It doesn't give you a lot of time to settle in. It doesn't give the crew a lot of time to settle in. There's a really tight schedule, but it's an exciting adventure.
Proceed directly to your next destination.
It's the product of a huge amount of work, and Marcus Rowland, most of all, creating this very tactile future world was no mean feat, and I'm very proud of what we managed to achieve.
All right, dude.
Stop filming me!
Thank you for clicking on our video, everybody. If you like what you saw here, please make sure you like the video and subscribe and share with your friends who like this sort of content. Joblo remains an independent company, and we appreciate all of your support.